What's up and welcome back to the channel. You are listening to Ninja Knight. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell up above for future uploads, check out the links posted in the description down below to support the channel, and consider joining the channel today. Thank you. So Hasbro have revealed not one but two Aisha figures now. This is something that bothered me on the last live stream, and it bothered me even further today with the amount of talk that they like to talk about this character and hype this character up. When you look at the actress that is behind it, it's a very questionable individual that is behind this character, and the fact that the Hasbro want to keep promoting this character is certainly something that I find very strange, and I think it's very hypocritical, and I'm going to get into that over this video. What has spurred this conversation on is that I've seen on social media and on different forums consistent and constant talk about, say for example, Wild Force, and particularly the Red Ranger in Wild Force, Ricardo Medina Jr., who is a man that was sentenced to prison for a manslaughter charge and has since been released. There is always talk about whether he will get a figure or not. Now, a jury of people have decided that what he did was manslaughter and it was based on self-defense. So to me, I don't really see that big of an issue surrounding him getting an action figure. However, if the company decided themselves that they wanted to release the Wild Force Red Ranger and just not include an alternate portrait, I would be absolutely fine with that. And I think an awful lot of other people would probably be fine with that. And that's fair enough. However, when you're looking at this person that they've decided to push forward and consistently promote over these last two live streams, it certainly raises questions, and I find it quite strange. So as we can see here, this is Aisha from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and this is the metallic version of the character. They have since given her now a 2-pack version that has Scorpina in it. So they've given promotion to this character. Now I've talked about it in previous live streams and in previous videos about that Hasbro allowed a person, Andre from Black Nerd Comedy, to come on to the live stream and talk about a certain 3-lettered group that had been causing chaos and anarchy and division in America and all around the world, even so far as coming over now towards this side of the pond and getting involved in the likes of Premier League games and various other fixtures where it has no place whatsoever. Yeah, Hasbro are happy to push this person forward, and in the previous live stream had one quote-unquote fan say that her favourite Ranger was Aisha, and then her favourite new 6th Ranger was a new Ranger because he was black. This is an incredible turn of events that we're seeing from Hasbro here, and this person that they're deciding to highlight is a person that I would say is a hypocritical person to back when you decided to cancel action figures of Gina Carano, who plays Cara Dune in Star Wars The Mandalorian. So let's have a look and see some of the posts that she's been making, and there's one big thing that an awful lot of people don't know about that I'm going to talk about within this video. So as we can see here, she's deciding, and in no uncertain terms, to eulogize and promote a criminal. This guy has a criminal history, and that's all I can say on that matter. You look at some of the things that this guy has done in the past, and they are horrific things. In my opinion, I think she would be better off spending her energy in talking about, for example, David Dorn, who was a black male, who was a former police chief, who was unceremoniously killed on Facebook Live when he decided to go down and help out his friend whose shop was being burgled, it was being looted, it was being burned, and he went down to try and stop that. This man had retired from active duty, from being a fantastic upstanding citizen and someone that was protecting the community, gunned down, and nobody has come to justice for that whatsoever. Nobody, and definitely not any of this group, are out in the streets looking for justice for that man whatsoever, but yet they're happy. And this person in particular, because some of the other posts that you will see from her are eulogizing and promoting criminals. This is not something that the Power Rangers brand should be associating itself with, and that's exactly where I'll draw back to the Ricardo Medina Jr. comment, in that if they don't want to go along with people that have had a previous criminal record or supporting criminals, 100%, that's fine, release it without the alternate portrait, no issue there whatsoever. Yeah, you have a person here now that is eulogizing and promoting this type of individual, but then Cara Dune's actress Gina Carano makes a couple of statements that you might find untoward, you might find offensive, but it was actually fairly unifying and fairly rational and logical in my opinion, and they decided to stop issuing action figures of her. Very curious, and that's not the only problem that I have with this person, as we'll see now in a moment. So we'll go in here and we'll have a look at some of this comment that she's making, and she's talking about this now. talking about eradicating this sort of tality. This is pure and utter nonsense. That is complete and utter nonsense. When you look at the percentages with which people within these African American communities and within the black communities that want police to be within their areas, it's risen. It has only risen, and certainly within the autonomous zone that they have, there's an awful lot of issues down there, and there's people within those autonomous zones now that are actually asking for police help. So this person talking about this complete and utter nonsense. You are living in La La Land here. You are not one of the average Joe soaps that is staying in these places and having to deal with this nonsense that you're perpetuating. Let's keep pushing for equality. Well, the last time I checked, America was a place that elected Barack Obama to be a president on 2 different terms. This is a guy that spent 8 years within the White House, even though 12% of the population within America is black. So if you want to talk about equality, I think you're talking about the wrong side of things there. When you can have a black president that is in charge of America, but you only make up 12% of the population, I think you have equality there. That would be just my opinion myself. All of the people who videotaped and tapped, I mean, there's even the lack of intellect that you're dealing with here. Tapped instead of taped, TAPED. The crime marched in protest. Now, when you're talking about the crime, this is something that I'm no solicitor and I can't go in and talk about, but certainly when you've seen the breakdown of the videos of what went on in the courtroom from other people, you're certainly looking at it and saying to yourself, well, what they did was techniques that they found was useful within their own force. And that's just that. Marched in protest. Oh, the peaceful protest, is it? That's something that you don't want to talk about now either. You know, you see that guy that was standing in front of a place on fire and said, mostly peaceful protests here. Absolute nonsense. You are someone that is sporting this sort of stuff on. And in fact, black businesses were burned down, black businesses were destroyed, and people's lives utterly upended them because you are pushing this sort of stuff on. People who testified, the jury, and to the amazing team. Now, going back down to the jury, and this is just an aside, there's one guy that's already after coming out and saying that he was at a certain meeting in a certain place, and that would definitely make him impartial. This is going to get a retrial, or it's going to get some sort of mistrial now in the future. The appeal process, I think, will move swiftly on this, and you'll have this person and other people like her then reeing yet again. And to the amazing team of prosecutors who laid out an impeccable case. When you look at certain people, particularly even on this platform, that have broken down that case and what went on in the prosecutors were far from impeccable. They started to change things left, right and centre. It took a village, thank you. Next, we need legislation passed. Legislation for what? What are you talking about? This is the type of nonsense that these people are pushing on, and this is someone now that Hasbro is actively promoting. This is a person that they're 100% behind, that they've made 2 action figures of this person, and she's cheering on people losing their businesses, losing their livelihoods, living in fear. All sorts going on within their communities, and the likes of the police now withdrawing from those communities, and it's just becoming lawless. And this person's cheering her on saying, yeah, it's more of this. You must be joking me. Thank you. Next we need legislation passed, and then she goes with this then. It is incredible. Now what I'm going to just show you is this, and this is the thing that I have the biggest problem with. Aside from her political post, which she can make all she wants, and that's fair enough to her, and she's entitled to think what she wants to think, however ludicrous it is. But again, like I said, hypocritical. How is she getting 2 action figures, and then they decide then not only 2 months ago to cancel all of the Cara Dune figures? It doesn't make sense, does it? Then you look at this. And this is called The Order. Now, this is something that herself actually went around to different Comic Cons, for example, and decided to promote. And I just want to spot a couple of things here. So as you can see here now, because an awful lot of people will probably come to this and say, oh no, it wasn't really her. Look who's in charge of this. It's K Ash Pictures. Now, her name is Karen Ashley, so that would make me assume that she is in charge of this. Just as an aside, there was people out there that were complaining about Jason David Frank, and it happens on message boards, by the way, that they're allowed to complain about Jason David Frank, which is fair enough, they're entitled to do that, and we're bashing him about the fact that he wanted to do Soul of the White Dragon or Legacy of the White Dragon or whatever he's doing now at the moment. He was doing that on a platform that you were able to get your money back if it didn't get fully funded, or if it didn't get to the goal that it wanted to get to. Surprise, surprise, it didn't get to the goal that it wanted to get to, money was returned. Let's see what happens here though, because the comments I think within this section are very, very interesting. Now when you're looking at this K-Ash Pictures, it's unashamedly and unabashedly her that's behind this. It has raised €117,946 by 1,633 backers. That's unbelievable. Now this is up since July 18th, 2016. Well, I wonder how the movie went. Oh, whoops. Here we go. Over a year later since last update, sadly I feel this may be the end of this project. A year ago, are there any updates on this project? 3 years ago, is there going to be a DVD or Blu-ray for the movie? And then here's another one. You want a distributor? Talk to Discotech Media. I'm sure they'd be more than happy to help. Now, 4 years ago, then other comments that are going on, but as we can see here, within the last year and a month, it seems like this isn't happening whatsoever. So essentially, what this is, and you could equate this maybe some sort of legal that's out there, is this theft? Is it fraud that this person has made in this statement and within this sort of link that she has for Indiegogo up here? I don't know. Maybe a legal might be able to look at that and say, well, you might have a case there. So people that have bought into this, and from what I understand with Indiegogo, I'm not sure whether you can get refunds on it or what can happen or what happens after a certain time. But certainly now this is a person that has money belonging to people and hasn't actually come up with a product. Now unfortunately, as we can see here, we have two former Rangers here in the lady who plays Catherine Sutherland, and we have Steve Cardenas here who played Rocky. They're front and centre rather than Karen Ashley herself. So quite a devious and mischievous person then, if you want to put it that way, that she's decided not to put herself front and centre, even though her name is over here, and she thinks then people aren't going to realise who's actually in charge of this project. This is a really big problem. And if I was Hasbro, I'd certainly be looking into this. And if I was a fan of Power Rangers, I'd certainly be looking into this. And I'd certainly be asking her the certain questions of what's going on here with this movie. Is this movie going to be released? Is this something that we're going to get refunds on? Or is this a person that has just taken the money and ran off and then is happy then to cheer on other places where people actually live in different neighbourhoods, in disadvantaged places perhaps, and is cheering on problems that are within those neighbourhoods, but she's made off now with over 100k? That'd make you think, wouldn't it? So when you're looking at this and you're seeing Hasbro deciding to put their eggs into the basket of this person in that they have two action figures of her being released, it would certainly make me question what the motivations of are the company. Now, not too long ago, I also talked about a certain member of a certain team, by the way, that had put up a tweet talking about Gina Carano and said they had no plans to make a character or a figure from her character appearance in Deadpool. And they were like, yeah, Hakuna Matata, no interest. That's political bias then. If you're deciding to not make a figure on a person based on who they believe in and what they believe in, that's wrong. But if you're looking at this then and you're trying to play that sort of advocate role of saying, well, if you don't want to make figures of people because of what they believe in and because they're essentially then, in your opinion, are promoting this sort of nonsense of going forward and causing issues for other person and other people, you have to then look at this person and say, well, this person shouldn't be getting an action figure and the action figure should be cancelled. Is that going to happen? No. Are there going to be Aisha fans that are going to be upset with this video and upset with that comment and that commentary? 100%. But the logic behind this is you have to see that that is totally hypocritical, that they are happy for Gina Carano to have action figures cancelled of her for saying and posting a couple of things, yet then this person has posted inflammatory things, has posted an order from Indiegogo that hasn't actually come true, and money has gone missing and it seems to not have gotten back to the fans. And quite curiously, on certain message boards and on certain groups, when you bring up this conversation, it is quickly removed. So that says an awful lot to me. Now, this is going to be one of the only channels that you'll get this kind of commentary, so do make sure you like, share and subscribe to the channel. That is really appreciated, because an awful lot of other channels are happy to get the little handouts that they get or get the little interviews that they get with these people. I'm not about that. What I'm about is telling the truth and letting people know exactly what's going on and saying exactly what's on my mind. I do not bow to a corporate master. I am not underneath the corporation and saying, can I please have something like little Oscar or Oliver saying to you, please can I have some more? No interest in that whatsoever. I'm able to stand on my own 2 feet. I don't need any freebies from these companies. And what I want to do from this is show people that this is a person that has decided to do what they're doing and is constantly then out self-promoting herself. It's a company that is promoting this person, yet then it's the same company then that want to turn around and say to people, well, you're bad if you vote for that. This is the same company that basically fired a man for putting in Cybertronian on the side of a transformer, the letters MAGA. Fired him outright. Yet there's other people here now within the brand that are actually telling you, within this company, that are actually telling you and posting it on social media, we have no interest in talking about an action figure for that person because of what they believe in. That is insanity. Not when you're able to put out an action figure of this person and this person's beliefs being way off the board, in my opinion. Because now it's the time where people need to start calling this out and say, hey, what you're talking about here now is complete and utter nonsense, and what you're doing is complete and utter nonsense. And hey, where is that Order movie that we paid for? When are we getting that? When are we going to see that? And that's what I want to see more of. I would love to see more of that in the community. I would love to see more people asking questions, and I would love to see more people talking about it on these forums, because these forums decide to shut these type of conversations down. But yet, like I said, they will have 110 different posts about how people dislike Jason David Frank for whatever weird reason. This is a guy that I've actually met in person, an absolute gentleman, a lovely guy, and someone that I can't understand how people could have any sort of disdain or dislike for. I'm not saying people should have disdain or dislike for Karen Ashley, but when you're looking at the grand scheme of things, this is a person that has made off allegedly now, and from what I've dug into here, made off for over 100k with no product being pushed up, and then there's a person then that is promoting all sorts of nonsense in people's neighbourhoods while sitting in LA and happy enough then to put her feet up and have a laugh at people from there. This is insanity. Anyway, I'm going to leave the video there. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell up above for future uploads. Check out the links posted in the description down below to join the channel, and consider joining the channel today, and I'll talk to you later. Good luck.